Good afternoon to each and everyone. My name is Sheldon Allen P. Saluta, the reporter number 11 with the title Irrigation, Structures and Standards. But before there's a need for us to know first the importance of irrigation and the water system and why we have to follow the structures and standards in doing so. Good afternoon to each and everyone, especially to our teacher, Engineer Showna Lee Sales.
Organic farmers rely on healthy soils and dependable water sources to grow their food. In fact, agriculture accounts for nearly 80% of our country's consumptive water use, which makes how we use water a critical natural resource issue. The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service can help farmers with effective irrigation water management plans tailored to their farm's specific needs. NRCS helps farmers and ranchers conserve water with plans that increase their soil's water holding capacity, using conservation tillage and mulching to keep the ground covered and reduce water loss through evaporation. They also promote organic practices that create biodiversity by using crop rotations and cover crops to build soil organic matter. And it adds up. A 1% increase in soil organic matter on a single acre can help the soil retain over 20,000 gallons of water. Water that can be banked and made available when plants need it most. And NRCS agricultural engineers can use satellite tracking tools to conduct precise topographical surveys. These can help them to design a complete irrigation system, from well to pumps to pipes to hookups out in the field. They can also help farmers automate their irrigation needs using tools like wheel lines. These manage cropping systems that require different amounts of water throughout the year. Or they can use approaches that combine conservation principles with efficiency, using tools like drip irrigation to put water precisely where and when it's needed, in the root zone. And tools like soil moisture sensors to monitor the effectiveness of these systems to reduce overwatering and nutrient losses. They can help develop irrigation management plans that preserve wildlife, using technology to pump stream water into nearby storage tanks during off hours so that farms can meet their daily irrigation needs without compromising spawning grounds for local fish. The Natural Resources Conservation Service, helping organic farmers balance their land's water needs with those of nature.
The video already explained what's the importance of irrigation and its connection to the water system, and basically my topic for today, or the flow of the topic for today. So basically, guys, or when we said irrigation, there are actually four systems or stations, or let's just say parts. So the very basic is the main intake structure and pumping station. The intake structure is built at the entry to the irrigation system. Its purpose is to direct water from the original source of supply, it could be the lake, river, reservoir, or etc., into the irrigation system. In some cases, the irrigation water source lies below the level of the irrigated fields. Then, a pump must be used to supply water to the irrigation system. There are several types of pumps, but the most commonly used in irrigation is the centrifugal pump. So basically, for the station 1, or the main station, is where we get the water to use to water the plants. So that's the main idea of the first part. Conveyance and distribution system. It is the system consists of canals transporting the water through the whole irrigation system. So canal structures are required for the control and measurement of the water flows. As you can see, in order for the water from the water source or supply be transported to the field or to the specific plants, we need to have a distribution system. This where system number two comes in. So we have two types of systems. So we have first the open canals. An open canal channel or the ditch is an open waterway whose purpose is to carry water from one place to another. Channels and canals refer to main waterways supplying water to one or more farms. Field ditches have similar dimensions and convey water from the farm entrance to the irrigated field. So basically, when we said water canals or open canals, it's open. So there's no need for some like an equipment or a gasoline to work for to use to work for this equipment to pump waters from the water supplies, and so it just the water just flow openly. That's the difference of the second type of canals, so what we call canal structures. The flow of irrigation water in the canal must be always be under control. For this purpose, canal structures are required. They help regulate the flow and deliver the correct amount of water to directed branches of the system and onward to the irrigated fields. There are four main types of structures. So, and now we know now where the water comes from and then how it being distributed. And now let's go ahead and see the third system or the third part where is we're in the field application system. This is what we know, the different type of irrigation. So there are many methods of applying the water to the field. The simplest one consists of bringing water from the source of supply, such as a well, to each plant with a bucket or a water can. So like our plantitas, our mother antiras, where they actually especially this type this pandemic, so marami nang nag nagpa-plant sa kanilang bakuran, and then when they get water and they water the plant, it's already been irrigation, a simple type of irrigation. So on the ancient time, way back before, they the, irrig- the irrigation is the main purpose or the main reason why there's a civilization. So without irrigation, civilization will not occur or will not flourish. And they called it watering plants with a bucket. So under it, there are actually three types. As we all know, the surface irrigation, the spring irrigation, and the drip irrigation. And under the surface irrigation, we have three types: the furrow, the burrow, and the basin. So, watering plants with a bucket, it is a very time-consuming method and it involves quite heavy work. However, it can be used successfully to irrigate small plots of lands, such as vegetable gardens that are in the neighborhood of water source, or the most sophisticated method of the water application are used in large irrigation systems. So we have the first one, the surface irrigation, which is one of the the common thing that we have here in the Philippines. So surface irrigation is the application of water to the field at ground level. Either the entire field is flooded or the water is directed into furrows or borders. So as you can see, there's no need for uh, for like complicated canals systems like pipes and all. It just let the water flows and go directly to the water, to the plants rather. And this, we have what we call furrow irrigation, wherein it is actually the furrows are narrow ditches or dug on the field between the rows of crops. The water runs along them as it moves down the slope of the field. As you can see, they're actually a tube, a very large tube where the water comes in, and then on that specific tube, there's a little tube again, actually watering or like letting the water flow, as you can see in the picture. Second example here is the border irrigation. So the field to be irrigated is divided into strips, also called the borders or the border strips, by parallel dikes or border ridge. This is actually very common here in the Philippines. What we have is the basin irrigation, and personally, I would say here in Agusan del Sur, we actually practiced basin irrigation, especially in palays. Basins are horizontal flat plots of land surrounded by small dikes or bunds. The banks prevent the water from flowing to the surrounding fields. Basin irrigation is commonly used for rice grown on the lands of a terrace in a hillside. So We have actually what we call the second type, the sprinkling irrigation, and it's very safe, self-explanatory by its name. With its sprinkler irrigation, artificial rainfall is created. The water is led to the field through a pipe system in which water is under pressure. So the spraying is accomplished by using several rotating sprinkle heads or spray nozzles, a single gun type sprinkle. So the difference between the sprinkle irrigation and the surface irrigation, the sprinkle actually uses pressure on the water, so it can actually create a rain-like structure. It's what we call the drip irrigation, which is one of the most expensive type of irrigation and actually used in big plantation. So in drip irrigation, also called the trickle irrigation, the water is led to the field through a pipe system. On the field next to the row of plants or trees, a tube is installed. So at regular intervals near the plants or trees, a hole is made in the tube and equipped with an emitter. The water is supplied slowly, drop by drop, to the plants through this emitter. So the reason why it's actually expensive because it uses a lot of tube and it actually placed near to the plants in order to avoid excess. Later on, it will explain why do we have why we do not to have an excess watering the plants. So, but before doing so, let's go ahead and watch this video on YouTube. It's actually explain all this type of irrigation. So that's actually the overview of all types of irrigation. So first, we actually inform where the water supply comes in, and then it's transported by the different type of canals or tubes, and then we are introduced to the different type of irrigation. Now the last part is the drainage system. So a drainage system is necessary to remove excess water from the irrigated land. This excess water may be wastewater from irrigation or surface runoff from rainfall. It may also include leakage or seepage water from the distribution system. So the reason why we need to have a drainage system, because because our family is actually a farmer, was told before that if you excessively water the plants, it's not good for them. They would tag it as nalumos. So there's a possibility that the plant will die. So we have to plan for the drainage system. and for us to use wisely the water, because not all the time we can actually, or we can access water from the water supply. So that's it, everyone, the four parts or system of the irrigation structures. And I hope you were able to learn a one or two. And have a great day. Thank you for listening, and God bless.